Hello, people. It's silent business. Greetings to my silent army. Shh.
I'm just a messenger.
Don't shoot. Yes, people. Wagwan. How you guys doing? Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's get this thing popping. Trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. All right? All right. Let's do this. Okay, people. The video today is Dr. Umar Johnson, well-known activist. You can go and check him out. He's on YouTube, Instagram, right? Weighs in on his opinion on Kevin Samuel's death and the way people are behaving over Mr. Samuel's demise. And at the end of the video, I'll weigh in with my thoughts. Okay? All right. Let's get into it.
This week we saw the passing of the prophet Kevin Samuels, who is a polarizing figure primarily for telling the truth. So why do you think we've seen such polarization over his death and many black women celebrating as if, they had just vanquished Thanos at the end of the Avengers or something when it comes to the passing of Kevin Samuels?
Here's what I would say. First thing that I think has to be said on this topic of the passing of Mr. Kevin Samuels is none of the black women who chose to go on his platform were forced to do so. He didn't beg any of them. He didn't manipulate any black women into coming on his platform. They all did so consciously of their own free decision. They came willingly. His platform was supported by women, and he has just as many female defenders as he has male defenders. And so, therefore, to some degree, although I likewise did not agree with his message or his methods, many sisters who are suggesting that Kevin Samuels created this rift between black men and black women, they're being disingenuous. 75% of the vitriol, the hostility, and the vilification that black women are now showing towards Kevin Samuels would be more rightly placed or directed towards the queendom, the sisterhood, not Kevin Samuels. If anything, he exposed it, he exploited it, and he marketed the pre-existing differences between black men and black women, but he did not birth them. And so I'm disappointed in both the way that black men and black women are reacting to Kevin Samuel's death. On the side of the sisterhood, I'm seeing black women say things like, I'm throwing a party to celebrate his death. I've seen a sister say that. I've seen other women say, yes, we should be praising God for this. We should be honoring the ancestors that.
And are you hearing this, people? And trust me when I tell you this, if you literally go on social media, you are going to see a lot of this. You understand? We get that you dislike a certain individual, but let them rest in peace. There's no need for such arbitrary behavior. It's inhumane,
He is dead. But did you have the same energy for the police that killed Trayvon Martin? Did you have the same energy for the police who killed Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland? I mean, what about the enemies of the black community? Did you throw a party when they were convicted or murdered or whatever the case may be? You don't show that type of vitriol to the enemies of black people, but yet you'll show it to Kevin Samuels. And then on the side of the brother's attorney, I take issue with the way in which many of our men are elevating him to the level of a black liberation martyr. Kevin Samuels was not a black activist. He did not have a history of grassroots work. I'm not aware of anything he did to fight against police injustice, mass incarceration, miseducation, gentrification, access to wealth. He was a businessman.
I literally get what Dr. Umar is trying to say, right? But you don't have to be all of that to be delivering a message which people feel like, you know what? I've never heard anything like this before. This is somebody that don't know me from anywhere, is literally trying to give me a kick up the arse and telling me I can do better for myself and I must want better for myself. You understand where I'm coming from? I don't see nothing wrong in that. You understand? But I get what he's saying. You understand?
He was a very successful businessman who used this platform to market his views on black male-female relationships to a tune of $3+ million. And I have no problem with people celebrating him as a businessman. I have no problem with people applauding the professional manner in which he offered his narrative to black men and black women. Three-piece suit, very calm, very professional, the ambiance of his platform. I had no problem with the way he conducted himself. But the method and the message I totally disagree with. And I support black men who want to support Kevin Samuels, but it is disingenuous and it is wrong, Dr. King and Medgar Evers and Malcolm X and Fred Hampton and the most honorable Marcus Garvey, to elevate this man's work to the level of martyrhood or saintdom when he has no history of grassroots activism or work. He was a businessman who did a very good job offering his opinions on male-female relationships.
Now, one of the questions I think people have is his death and the story around it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Do you think there's any validity to this question of whether or not he was assassinated? Because he was found with a Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, Spanish woman who was a nurse, and it all just seems a little too convenient. Do you think there's any validity to this claim that he may have been assassinated?
Too convenient.
I think there is validity. I do not believe that it is potentially a political assassination. He was very successful. He made a lot of money. He had enemies. And so I very much think that it is possible that black women who hated him or black men who were jealous of him could have potentially participated in a conspiracy that brought about his premature demise. I am also not going to rule out the possibility that the non-black woman that he unfortunately spent his last night on earth with may have been a proxy for his assassination. The fact that this footage showing that she and Mr. Samuels had a disagreement on camera. Okay, he was a little perturbed. I saw the video. We could not see her, but it did look like she wanted to walk in front of the frame on his live, and he told her no. He motioned her away from that. It also looked like he was telling her, if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. You know, he seemed like he was dismissive of whatever her issue was. Understandably, if he's about to go live and she knows that, this is not the time to discuss your issue. So perhaps she wanted to sabotage his live to force him to deal with whatever her issue was. And allegedly, he succumbed on the very evening that he had this mild altercation with this woman. So, yes, I think it is very possible that that woman, who many allege was a nurse, could have been a proxy in Mr. Samuels'. The fact that the police report mentioned that they were called for an injury. They didn't say a black male was having a heart attack. They were called there for an injury, which to me is suggestive of the possibility that there was some sort of a physical altercation that took place between him and that female. So, yes, I do believe it could have been foul play.
We've gotten to a point in our society where it's very difficult to believe literally any narrative coming out of the mainstream media. And when it comes to this narrative about his activities on the last night of his life, very little of it is adding up.
Yes, people, that was literally the end of the video. And I'll leave a link in the description so you can go and watch the full video. Okay? But yeah, man, let me weigh in with some of my thoughts. People are parading because of the truth. Yes, I get it. Mr. Samuel's delivery was not what a lot of women wanted to hear and what they were used to. It could come across as brutal. You understand where I'm coming from? But instead of assessing the information that was given and responding in a way where you're trying to peel back the layers to understand the message that was delivered. You understand where I'm coming from? Yeah, yeah. Instead, people reacting to the points that trigger them. And in return, build a dislike for the messenger. Yeah? But you want to know what the hypocrisy is? Watch this one. Women get insulted by rappers, drillers, spinners, trappers in their music. But yet, these are the women in clubs and in their yards, shaking their bunda and smiling and singing along to the same audio tracks that are calling them hoes and objectifying them. Please make it make sense. Like really, please make it make sense, innit? People are having parties, going out clubbing, yeah? Spending money celebrating the death of someone they hate, supposedly hate. The hypocrisy. Make it make sense. Like really, please make it make sense, innit? As the late great Mr. Samuels would say, you can't make this shit up. And you want to know what the irony is? For all black people supporting this insane behavior, participating in the character assassination of Kevin Samuels, you're behaving like the same black people you hate. Digest that one, please. Digest that one. And I'm going to leave you with this little message, people.
Do not mind anything that anyone tells you about anyone else. Judge everyone and everything for yourself.
Shh.
I'm just a messenger.
Don't shoot.